Welcome to my Wild Kingdom Wellness podcast. We are live streaming currently on Thursday, April the 16th, 2026. Hold please while I send this live streaming YouTube video over to my other social media platforms. One moment. And we are back. That should do it, guys. I had to do the technical stuff first. How are you today? Again, welcome to my Wild Kingdom Wellness podcast. If you have not liked or subscribed to these podcasts, then I highly recommend that you do so. I'm trying a new thing, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to be offering these live streaming exercise videos for my own personal health and wellness journey. And I will be streaming these audios and videos over to other social media platforms. Now, I want to apologize in advance for my throat clearing because I am living in the state of Kentucky. And ladies and gentlemen, right now, our pollen count is off the chain. I'm telling you, for those of you all that don't know, I drive a white car. Okay, we'll just say that. And my white car is orange. It's very orange because of the pollen and all the molds, everything coming through the ether, in the air right now. Because, guys, we are right in the middle of, or the start of, should I say, the start of the season of spring. Okay, so again, you're going to want to like and subscribe because if you're on this live stream with me, watching me on visual, then over the course of time, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to start to see my personal spiritual wellness journey unfold before your eyes. And you're not going to want to miss these episodes. I'll tell you why. Number one, when you're an independent podcaster and you get online and you start to do a live streaming video, then it's kind of scary. Let me just start with that. It's a little intimidating to start your day as a wellness podcaster with a live stream video when you know that you're not perfect. Okay, so three of you are watching. Say good morning. Hop on, like, subscribe. Guys, listen, we're going to have fun here on this bicycle this morning. So make sure you are following along with my Wild Kingdom Wellness podcast. So you are right. Red Queen, Army Girl. Woo, Army Girl, hello. If you are in the military, thank you for your service, by the way. So just want to say that, I'll throw that out there because there's a lot going on in the world right now. So, but yes, thank you, Queen Amy, Army Girl, Red Queen, Army Girl. Thank you for your thumbs up. All right. So, the things that we talk about in this podcast, on this podcast, guys, they go really deep and wide. And I know sometimes when people watch me on video and they start to follow me as I channel spirit, because that's really what I do. That's what I do is I just channel spirit and kind of go through some of the things that I see going on in the world around me when it comes to like spirituality, health, wellness, mental health, all that stuff, y'all. You're not going to want to miss these episodes. So just make sure you follow along. And if you give me a like or you subscribe, it really helps with the algorithm. People say that, y'all, on professional, independent podcast shows when you're on YouTube. But I'm telling you, the more you click like and subscribe, the more the algorithm's going to pick me up. And then, guys, I'm going to be able to pick you up in the morning going, we're going to get on this bicycle. We're going to do some exercise. We're going to take a walk in the park. And I'm going to allow for my life's journey to be present on social media through YouTube. And as an independent podcaster, I just want to have fun. Like the whole Cyndi Lauper theme of girls just want to have fun is very true. It's very true. So make sure you're following along. Okay, let's get to the meat of what I want to talk about today. Please, guys, like and subscribe, support him challenge. Well, I'm a girl, her challenge. But thank you anyway, Red Queen. So support her challenge. Him, her, them, they, we, whatever. Nothing really offends me. You're going to find that the more you get to know me. Like, I am not easily offended as a middle aged woman in the world. Like, I'm just not easily offended anymore. I used to be. God, I used to really give two shits about what people thought about me, but that ended this year. So I was like, nah, I think I'm just gonna learn to be myself and not step into the blunders of all the chaos going on in the world around us right now. Okay, not too deep, right? I'm definitely an observer at this point. I have taken a step back in so many different ways. And if you know me, you know. But if you don't know me, you're like, what are you talking about? Well, I have stepped back from so many things that I started like less than a year ago, 6, 8 months ago. I jumped into some adventures in my world, right? Mostly business, some business adventures. And I went full throttle thinking I was going to do one thing and then turn around, y'all. And back towards the end of this past year, November, December, my life said, you're going to take a completely different turn when it comes to your career path. And I was like, oh, not again. Are you serious, universe? Are you really going to give me all of these opportunities and obstacles and challenges when it comes to my small little independent local business as a massage therapist and a health coach, right? You seriously, universe, gonna shut me down because the universe shut me down. I shut myself down, but the universe kind of shut me down and was like, no, I don't want you doing that with your career path. I want you doing this. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what is this? And spirit, the universe is like, the podcast. And I went, oh God, okay, right. So I spent a lot of time, y'all, in the last, say, 3 months in prayer. So true. So true, y'all. The power of prayer is pretty magical, by the way. So some of people might say, well, I was casting spells. I was spell casting, right? By praying. And I'm like, no, I was just doing my spiritual work, listening to spirit to go, what am I supposed to be doing as an independent, right? As a woman, as just a single human being, what am I supposed to be doing with the rest of my life? And y'all, I come to find that my soul, my spirit, my heart, the person I am on the inside said, you just want to run your mouth on a podcast and teach people, show people that being an independent individual is actually a good thing. That although metaphysically, right? Because I'm a spiritual life coach, so I'm going to talk a lot about spiritual metaphysics on this Wild Kingdom Wellness podcast. Okay, so like, subscribe. But as a spiritual life coach and as a leader in universal spirituality, because I consider myself a leader or in leadership when it comes to helping people identify what their true belief system is. Okay, so deep down in the core of who you are as a person, you know I think what I now know about myself as a spiritual life coach is that my role is to assist people in understanding, first of all, that we are all made up of spiritual life force energy. Okay, so yes, Red Queen, Army Girl, say yes. Okay, yes. Thank you for agreeing. Thanks for commenting, by the way. So, but y'all, we're all just made up of spiritual life force energy. Probably 90% of human beings on earth believe that we have some type of spiritual energy living inside of us. Okay. And the only people classification that I can really think of off the top of my head right now that might not believe that we're made up of spiritual energy could potentially be, a scientist or an atheist, something like that, right? So there are people that believe so logically that our mind, our brain, our thoughts, our emotions, our human consciousness is not about spirituality, religion, you know, hierarchy, things like that at all. And we're just a whole bunch of like hormones and chemistry and cells, and that when we die, because we all gonna die, we're all gonna die. You'll find is I'm very funny too, you all, but we are typically, allegedly, we're all gonna die. Okay, so what happens to your mind, your body, your emotions when you cross that veil, okay, of energy, when you go over into the afterworld, the afterlife, the next dimension, you know. Speaking of dimensions, did I mention I was a double Scorpio? Which is why I talk about like death a lot. So just FYI, y'all, like, subscribe, okay? But as a human being, when I look around me and I'm like, you know, I am here on this planet to question pretty much everything. And not a lot of people like it when you question, their belief systems, their political beliefs, their sexuality, people just don't care to be questioned about things that are very deeply rooted into their psyche. Okay. So in your psychology, okay. And I'm just going to say none of this is legal, professional, medical advice, okay? I'm just a girl with a camera on her bicycle, okay? So, this is for your entertainment purposes only. Need I say more? But guys, y'all, listen, I am a real person, and I have a real soul, and I have a real body. And I look around at others who look like me, they act like me, they walk upright like me. Some of them think like me, some do not think like me, and that's okay. But I look at people and I pull my energy back and I go, what is it that that person really needs, in order to survive here in the world we live in? And when I asked myself, y'all, that question this morning, the answer I got from spirit was they just need love. All we need is love. And I was like, that is a cliche Beatles song, and I'm like, and so I started humming around the house, all we need is love, love. Like I just do it. I start singing. When I talk to spirit, a lot of times I get my answers through music. Okay. And that's pretty powerful. That's pretty powerful. Now, this was the long way, y'all, to talk about what I want to talk about today on this podcast. So, again, bear with me. I'm on a bicycle. If I start huffing and puffing, just forgive me. Okay. Especially if you're listening on audio, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple, things like that. So, today being Thursday, April the 16th, 2026. I opened up my almanac, which I do every day, y'all, every day. And I looked at where the moon is because this is the 2026 Witches Date Book. Llewellyn, they need to like pay me for sponsorship at this point. So I'm just saying, y'all. Okay. But I look at the day and I look at what the color of the day is, and the color of the day today is turquoise. Okay. Now, I put on my turquoise ring. So for those of y'all watching, I got my costume jewelry on. Yes, it's costume. Actually, this is a real stone, but it's still costume jewelry, right? And I was like, okay, the color of the day today is turquoise. Great. I put on some turquoise pants, well, some pants, yoga pants with turquoise on. I didn't have a turquoise shirt, so I put on green because green to me is an adjacent color to turquoise. And so then I was like, well, what do I want to talk about with my viewers and my listeners on this morning's live Wild Kingdom Wellness podcast? And Spirit said, well, you've been talking about the sign of Aries right now in the universe, in astrology. Okay, so for those of y'all that don't know, I do astrology. I do astrology to myself more than anybody else. I love to do astrology to myself, okay? Meaning I apply the energy of today's horoscope to my daily life, if that makes sense, okay? Hold, please, while I drink my coffee too. Whew, I'm getting winded. Here we go. Hold. Slurp. Okay. I am addicted to caffeine, by the way. So, just so you know. But yeah, I'm like looking at today and I'm like, all right, all this Aries energy in the universe right now has to be utilized in some way, shape, or form, right? So, in yesterday's podcast, we talked about the sun is in Aries, the moon is in Aries, Chiron is in Aries, which is what we are going to talk about today because I got a little book here I'm going to go into here in just a minute. Neptune is in Aries, Mars is in Aries, Mercury is in Aries, and Saturn is in Aries. So is that 7? Anyway, I lose count. But we have not had an astrological alignment such as this for a very long time. I would suffice it to say several hundred years. Okay. So I did not take the time to look up, where the planets were, 1,000 years ago to see if what I see going on in the world around me aligns with what happened, say, a millennia ago or 1,000 years ago, right? And I'm using the reference 1,000 years biblically. Okay. So if you know, you know. Okay. So these let's just say every 1,000 years or so, we have these massive alignments of planetary action, keyword action. And all of a sudden, the walls of the empire, leadership, patriarchy, or matriarchy start to fall down. Okay. So, kingdoms are built. Somebody is jealous of somebody's kingdom. And throughout history, war has ensued, torn down a kingdom, or a people, if you're talking about race, and overpowered, controlled them, took all their stuff, and then rebuilt the kingdom. Because leadership wants us to think that they're doing it for the betterment of the people. Can I get a witness? Can I get an amen? Amen. Just comment amen below if you agree. Systems and kingdoms are built up, empires rise, they get so big, they start to rob and pillage and steal from the people. The people, the city, the county, the country, the kingdom gets weak, it gets weakened, the people get tired, and another person, another kingdom comes in and they want to take over your property. This has been going on in history, spiritually, religiously, financially, economically, forever. For however long forever has been. Okay. Now, here we are in 2026 in April or in the spring. And the alignment of Aries, which is the god of war and conflict, ruled by Mars, little g, little god of war. The constellation of like, it's conflict, y'all. It's conflict all day long. And what I see going on spiritually, though, is that in someone's natal chart, in today's astrology, you also have this asteroid called Chiron, which is in your natal chart. Okay, so it's a heavenly being, an asteroid. They say it's an asteroid. I would go with that. That cycles around our universe and is a place in your astrology where if I were reading your daily horoscope or your natal chart and I pulled your natal chart and I wanted to see where Chiron was in your birth chart, your horoscope, the day you were born, y'all, Chiron is currently and has been in Aries for a long time, several years, mind you. And this June 2026, June 19th to be exact, this asteroid in your natal chart, Chiron, is going to be leaving Aries, the sign of Aries, going into the sign of Taurus. So, why would you even care? Why, in the grand scheme of things, would you even care to know that this June 19th, 2026, according to astrology, the Chiron will be entering into the sign of Taurus? And what the hell does that even mean? Okay. Well, let's break down Chiron for just a minute. Okay. Chiron is the wounded warrior, the wounded spiritual warrior in your natal chart. Chiron in your birth chart represents, and I'm going to use the word deep, deep, traumatic, childhood, or past life events that you've experienced. Okay. Meaning that somewhere in your journey, your soul's journey, you know, Chiron made a stop and said, go ahead and cut my legs off and beat me. It's fine. Okay. In theory, y'all. That's the kind of energy that Chiron brings to someone's natal chart. Most Chiron startups are about some type of physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual abuse. Okay. Broad category, very psychological. No, I'm not a doctor. Okay. So when you find Chiron in someone's natal chart, if I was reading your chart, I would go, well, what constellation is that in? Oh, it's in Aries right now. Well, guess what? That's my chart. Okay. That is mychart.com. My Chiron, Holly King's Chiron, is in Aries, and it's about to leave. And it won't be back anytime during my lifetime. Okay. So, as a reader, as someone that works the element of astrology, I would be like, first of all, thank God that Chiron is leaving Aries this summer, because Chiron has been in Aries for so long. And don't quote me on how long, I'd have to go look it up. But this is a completion of a complete stripping down of a cycle. I'm not being facetious here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you what I see in the natal chart. And with all this Aries energy, how could you deny? If you even have a slice of a brain at all as a person, as an adult, okay? If you have a glimmer of shiny in your brain and you look at the astrology of the day with all this Aries, war energy, it is mostly definitely the sign of the times. And that, y'all, starts to back into a whole nother topic and conversation when it comes to what's going on in global leadership, particularly in America and in the White House. So, and if y'all think, excuse me, for 2 seconds, that the people who declared war over in Iran didn't know what was going on in the heavenlies, then I'm going to say you're sadly mistaken. I know for a fact that people in the White House of America use astrology, predictive astrology, to execute certain world events. Look up Joan Quigley with the Q, as she was Nancy Reagan's astrologer during their time in the White House. This is just in the 80s, okay? And that is when the Iran Contra battle went on. And for some weird reason, now that I'm thinking this through, it's like Iran has been the targeted of attacks during peak season of spiritual warfare when it comes to astrology. Now, I'm being very neutral and very diplomatic when I talk to you all about this stuff because I'm just a reader. Like I'm just seeing history. I'm seeing the past, the present, and the future kind of fold in on itself, right? And I'm like, oh my God, like there is so much to be said about when Queen Esther said, for such a time as this, you know, I'm going to try to save my people, right? And she was successful. So, women leaderships, yeah, I foretell, I foresee, y'all, a much stronger matriarchy start to emerge after this collapse of the patriarchy that's going on around us right now. So, just remember I said that. That's all. Just put that information into the back of your brain. Okay. That the matriarchy of society is probably going to have to take over after 1,000-year millennial reign and swoop in and clean up a lot of whole lot of hella lot of messes. Okay. Especially when it comes to like women and children, you know, which y'all, women are equal to men. There is no doubt in my mind of that. But the roles have been confused. Okay. That's again another topic, another day. But y'all, what does it mean? What does it actually mean? Let me pull this book. My glasses, y'all. Let me read y'all just a little bit before I go about what it means to have. Hello, Hattie VR 476. Hello. Get your pencil out, y'all. Pencil and paper. Well, I'm gonna read you all. I'm gonna read to you a little bit from this book, The Chiron Effect, by Lisa Tahir. She is a licensed clinical social worker, by the way. So I'm going to read you the excerpt about Aries being in Chiron. And then just know in the next couple of months, Aries will be, or Chiron will be leaving Aries and going into Taurus. And if you are a Taurus, subscribe because you're going to want to follow along to this Wild Kingdom Wellness podcast. Okay. So, all right. In this book, The Chiron Effect by Lisa Tahir, chapter 6 is where she talks about specifically Chiron being in Aries, okay, and what that means. Chiron entered the sign of Aries. Oh, here we go. April 17th, 2018. So she spends about 8 years here. He, them, they. Historically, when Chiron occupied the sign of Aries, changes in laws, y'all, were initiated pertaining to human rights, personal freedoms, and social change. The climax is here, guys. Chiron is now at its full 28th degree, 29th degree area of the universe. And so Chiron said, hey, the last 8 years of your life, we're going to work on changing the laws when it comes to human rights, your personal freedoms, and social change. It's pretty black and white, if you ask me, right? Unidolizvizvizia. WGAF. Right. Sorry, guys, I'm reading the comments. Chiron in Aries is about to take action and break you free. Yes, hello. Chiron in Aries brought about a sexual revolution during the Roaring Twenties, during the time of the Prohibition. Homosexuality was decriminalized in East Germany in 1968 and in West Germany in 1969, with Mexico, Guatemala, Japan, and some states in the U.S. following suit. The groundbreaking Stonewall riots occurred in 1969 in Manhattan, and the first LGBT Pride Parade occurred in New York City in 1970. In 1972, when Chiron was in Aries, when I was born, the Watergate scandal broke. And in 1974, President Nixon resigned from office. Can we get so lucky, y'all? Can we get so lucky right now to have the rest of this bullshit leadership? And I'm talking both sides, y'all. Just saying. Go ahead and just step away. Step away from the podium, step away from office. Let the states figure it out at this point if you're in the US, okay? For a minute, okay? Because nothing y'all are doing in the global government is helping the everyday person. Almost nothing, okay? Almost nothing. You will dangle for us a transparent dangling carrot. Make it up, y'all. Just pick something. Pick a propaganda. Pick a propaganda and ask yourself, how long has this regime, Chiron and Aries regime, the last 8 years especially, both sides, been dangling before us this transparent dangling carrot going, come on, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. Bitch, it ain't got better. Gas prices are higher than they've ever been. I don't buy it, y'all. I don't buy the bullshit. I don't buy all of it. Okay. And you shouldn't either. That's why you should like and subscribe. Okay. Let's get this message out there. Okay. Because Chiron's going to be leaving Aries soon. And when Chiron moves into Taurus, it's all about the money. The money sign of Taurus, the earth sign of Taurus, the rebuilding of the system, the earth system. Timing is everything. Okay. So, are we going to die? Hopefully not today. The answer again to that is yes, you're going to die one day. But how about we just walk into a new experience, especially if you're a light worker, you know, spiritual warrior that says, we are going to rise like a phoenix from the ashes with all this Aries sun sign, moon sign, Mars sign, Mercury sign, Neptune sign, Saturn sign, and Chiron sign astrology. And it will change again. So, Chiron in Aries is your relentless search for a stable, strong identity that drives your life experience. Let's see. Because you have become so attuned to others and their needs, sometimes with a Chiron in Aries, it becomes hard for you to even know what you want. And y'all, I've been going through that on a personal level the last 8 years, big time. Like, I have not been able to truly identify what my spiritual body actually wants. Not even what it needs, what it wants. What does my spiritual body want? Of course, I need to know what does my spirit need to feel whole, holy or holistic, pick your poison, right? But with Chiron and Aries, it's like you've done enough shadow work now, burning shit down. It's time for you to rebuild and get into stability, which is what Chiron and Taurus will do for us if we allow it. So that's all I really want to say today. How long we been on this bicycle, y'all? I'm on my Amazon, I don't know what brand it is, Yosuda bicycle. Amazon. We love Amazon, y'all. But y'all, I'm gonna start sweating it out with you and talking more about spirituality. And then if you would like and subscribe, that would really help the algorithm because I'm tired of being fat, but I'm definitely sassy. And I'm gonna work my energy to the best of my ability to help stay connected with you all through this Wild Kingdom Wellness podcast. And if this message, y'all, find somebody that needs love and laughter and online socialization, well, this is it. Okay, this is it. So the chat is open. Be kind to each other. Leave a comment, thumbs up, share, like, subscribe, and stay with me on this Wild Kingdom Wellness journey because you just might find a lot of good spiritual information. And it could change your life. So it could. It changed mine. So anyway, I love you. Live the dream. Again, like, subscribe, and we'll see you good fellas and fellowettes very soon. Have a great day. All right. Bye.